I got it, and I am here.
11 with Jenna. 11 with Jenna. 11 with Jenna. 11. Who you gonna call right now? 11 with Jenna. With Jenna. 11 with Jenna. Right now. 11 with Jenna. With Jenna. It's 11. Who you gonna call right now?
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Sunday, July 25th, 2021. It is 11:11. My name is Jenna. This is 11:11 with Jenna. What's going on? I am here every day at 11:11 a.m. and 11:11 p.m. Eastern Time, no matter what. If I'm in Norway, I think it's 5:11 a.m. If it's California, it's 8:11. And there's my alarm. Turn off all alarms. I don't know why my alarm goes off at 11:12. Well, I know that I had it. It's not set for 11:12. It's set for 10:45, and then what do you call it? Snooze. I snooze. And Patty Lohman, good morning. You left us early last night. Did you go look at a house at midnight? What's going on? What's happening? I'm curious. So let me just business out of the way really quick. I'm here every day. And good morning, Alex Martinez. And then this show on Facebook magically, thanks to William D. Lindemann's magical powers, goes over to YouTube. Now I'm learning that there is a way we could be multi-streaming this whole time live. I haven't figured that out yet. It might be too late, but if I do it on YouTube, we'll have a whole other crew of people, which would be really fun. So, and then also the way that people that I survive on doing 11:11 every day is because I love it and I get to communicate with those that are out there. And some of you, I don't even know who you are. So hello, because there's Patty and Alex and 3 other people. Hi, 3 other people, whoever you are. What are your names? Where are you from? I always love it if people can say where they're from. And also, I will post people say, how can you support 11:11 with Jenna? You can support by sharing the show and or doing this. Because Patty always says, post how people can donate. And now I'm trying to do that, but it's not letting me do it. Hold on. But I think it will now. Yay! Sometimes these things just take a moment. I don't know where Mama Gray. It says live video interrupted. I'm still here. Are you here? Did I disappear? Hello? I see it's still there. So there are 8 of you here right now. Happy Sunday. Who are you? Where are you from? Where are you from? What are you eating? What are you drinking? Eating, drinking. Makes me think of, I haven't eaten, or I have my tea. I have a nice detox, and that's a really hot cup right now. I am just going to, I don't know why. I did stall. My name is Armando. I'm dropping in from the City of the Angels. Hello, Armando from the City of Angels. What's going on? Well, so I'm just going to pop on over and introduce my friend, who some of you have met, and Armando, I don't think you have. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Martinez. Ooh, love the purple, dude. What up, what up, what up,
New kids flossing. The new kids floss nowadays.
Is that the flossing going on?
That's the flossing going on.
Ooh,
Sorry.
Skinny Pop popcorn. I love Skinny Pop popcorn.
Hello. Hi, Jenna.
Hi, Alex. How are you?
Good. I hope the audio everything is okay.
I like the audio, and I like the purple vibe you got going on there.
Oh yeah, I'm in the Purple Lounge at Caesars. It's VIP, very important. Potheads only.
There you go, brother.
VIPO, VIPO. So just to let
Very
you know,
potheads. Do you consider yourself a pothead?
yes,
Yes.
yes, yeah. You
Like,
had me at do you consider?
are you a master of like, how do I like how where do we go from here? Like, you're our master pothead here on 1111 with Jenna.
Well, thanks, I guess. Yeah, sure. I'll take that title if it's up for grabs. Hi, Lee. How are you doing?
Lee's in
I
the
don't know
Carolina.
you, but I don't know you, but you're awesome.
He is
Uh,
awesome. Lee's a big
how
supporter of the show, huge supporter of 1111 with Jenna.
awesome,
Thank you, Lee. Thank you,
awesome.
Lee. Thank you, Lee.
Hi, Mama Grace. Hi, Patty.
So how why do you take that title? So I mean, tell us about it.
Well, I've been smoking forever, probably since I was about 12, 13 years old.
Did you grow up
Uh,
in Berkeley?
no, I grew up in Richmond, San Pablo, so
Okay.
just outside of Berkeley, a little
Did
northeast.
you grow up in
West.
that cult? Like, was your family in the culture?
My brother, both my brothers were. Uh, I had one brother that was 13 years older than me and experienced the whole Summer of Love and Haight Ashbury and all that. So he was in the culture. My older brother unfortunately did time because of carrying. I don't know what time period that was. Probably the same time period. So um, it had been something that had always been around. Like one of the things I used to do as a younger person was sneak into my brother's room. He had a bunch of albums, and I wouldn't sneak in there to, to steal any weed, which he had. I would sneak in there to listen to Cheech and Chong records, and so that's how I got introduced to the culture. Is through Cheech and Chong. I knew I knew who Cheech and Chong were before I knew what weed was, who weed was.
So
You can
you
tell I'm a pothead because. Go ahead.
like some of
I'm
our
sorry.
friends. We have a lot of similar friends in the Bay Area that like were rolling their parents' joints when they were 5. You know,
Yeah,
they were
yeah, yeah.
they were helping their parents grow marijuana or make other drugs or do other things because that's what the culture of being in Berkeley was at that time.
Exactly. 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 My mom, unfortunately, was an opponent of weed and cannabis because a long time ago, my dad, when they lived in Richmond, uh, got involved. I guess, he was selling some weed on the side back in like the 50s, and uh, he got involved in something down in Tijuana. Him and his brother and a cousin, and the cousin was shot and killed in Tijuana. And my dad and my brother hightailed it back to Richmond, to the Bay Area, with, I guess, some money and some weed. And my dad got paranoid and ended up burying the weed in like a 5-gallon barrel in the backyard at this house in Richmond that he never dug up. And so that that
Still
barrel of
there.
weed is still buried in there. Yeah, possibly with some money too. So
Have you ever felt like knocking on the door?
I have, one of the projects. I always think about alternate stuff that I could do. Right, I like to write, and one of the things that I wanted to do was to do a documentary, not only on that, but then a documentary on the family in general. My mom's family and my dad's family, because there's a lot of experiences that both sides of those families went through
Where was
that
this
kind of need to be
from
documented.
originally?
My grandmother was from my grandmother on my mom's side was naturalized citizen. She was the daughter of some executive at the Oakland Tribune, and my grandfather was some gangster from North Richmond, to put it lightly. And they got together, And so that was like 1931. My mom was born in 33, and she's the second oldest of 9 siblings, 8 girls and 1 boy, 9 girls including her. So um, she married at 15 to get out of having to take care of this large family, and ended up having to take care of a man and his machismo ways, more emotionally abusive, verbally abusive kind of thing. But anyway, that's going so deep into my family history. But because of that experience, my mom didn't have a really good outlook on cannabis and weed. So she was always down on it.
But do you know the house where the container is?
Yep, I sure do.
And you haven't wanted to go knock, 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 knock. Hi.
I sure do. Yeah, I do. I really do. I really, really do.
And would that, depending on how they didn't have Ziploc and turkey bags back then when your dad buried it. So
Yeah, if anything, I would try and go back to harvest any seeds that are in there, because though possibly they might not have germinated. I don't know, deep, dark, dank areas they could have,
so
but
like
if anything, salvageable.
a strain that hasn't been around for 40 years.
Exactly. That's probably about the only use for it.
That's interesting. So
Lee, I love Penn and Teller.
yeah, I do
I
too.
got a great story about Penn and Teller, if I could tell it.
I do too, but I'm not going to tell them. Go ahead.
Well, back in the 80s, they had a live comedy radio show in the Bay Area. It was in the mornings, hosted by a gentleman named Alex Bennett, and he would do 4 hours in the morning. Yeah, he would do 4 hours in the morning, all talk, and he'd bring in comedians that are doing sets in the Bay Area to come in and do 3 hours, 4 hours, break in some material. And he had Penn and Teller come in, and I used to go as part of the live audience. And so, at the time, I believe it was Teller who didn't speak in public, right? That was his gimmick. And Alex Bennett was trying to convince him to say something first time ever in public on the radio. And so he convinced him to do it. And Teller was talking through the commercial breaks. He was having conversations and everything, right? And but he wouldn't speak on air. And so he agreed to it. And so Alex Bennett hyped it up. He goes, 45 minutes and a half an hour. Teller's going to finally speak in public. And he gets on the radio. It was finally time. He gets on the radio and he just says the F word. And they had the 4 second delay and forced Alex Bennett to press the delay. So all you heard was Alex Bennett giving the intro, a pause, and the audience just dying laughing. It was hilarious.
Oh, because they had no idea what. Yeah, they worked at Russian Hill Recording Studio in the 80s, and I worked there, and they would come in, and yes, it was always odd to see him talk, because I'd be like, wow, he really talks? Because nobody knew. I didn't know if he had and he was really sweet. We would drink, I'd make tea, and he'd have coffee, and we'd sit there and talk, and then they'd be like, okay, let's go back in the studio. But, so there's so much to talk about. So you're a pothead. You've worked in the cannabis business on and off through the years. Know a lot about it, and you also cook with it. Yeah,
I do. I got my experience, like you said, through the industry, the medical cannabis industry. I worked at one of the oldest dispensaries, I guess, in the nation. Berkeley Patients Group. When I got the job with them in 2009, they were celebrating their 10-year anniversary at that time. And really, I'd just been smoking most of my life. And so I had a little bit of growing experience, but mostly it was all usage, right? And before I got the job at Berkeley Patients Group, I volunteered at a small dispensary in Richmond that was running. And I was just volunteering for like an eighth of cannabis a day, and I'd do 6 hours. And I was a handyman, just kind of cleaning up, doing outside work and stuff like that. But it was the first time that I had been introduced to actual patients who were using cannabis as a medication. Before it was all just social, for me. And so that really kind of opened my eyes. And not only that, it kind of opened my compassion in my heart. I was introduced to someone who had severe MS, and I caretaked for him every Sunday, for about 3-4 months. So I would go over, get him out of bed, wash any sheets, put everything in the washing machine, anything that he had soiled overnight, cleaned him up, cleaned myself up, made him some breakfast, and then rolled joints for him for the next 3 hours. And so we'd sit around watching football, and I'd be smoking, and he'd pay me. And it was great, What a great way to develop that compassionate, aspect of yourself, right?
Right.
But it was that experience. I transitioned over to Berkeley Patients Group, and Berkeley Patients Group at the time was seeing upwards of like 1,300 patients a day, and they were open 7 days a week. And I was working a lot of over the counter, dealing with patients and talking to them about their conditions and what cannabis worked for them. And it was a great experience. I learned a lot. And
Well,
even more.
like now it's like the thing, like Lee's even saying there are jobs for tasters and dispensaries. Yeah, of course. But Alex has been doing that for 20 years. I mean, that's
Well, yeah.
plus. I mean, I'm sure you could say what you recommend this to this person because people are always wondering what's the strain, what's the good. I need an appetite thing. I need to sleep. I have muscle cramps. There's everything. And somebody like you, I would trust over someone that's just been in it for a year that just got the job or last week. But that's so then I met you through the Breathe people because they were all out in Richmond, right?
We were actually, once again, I met you a
No, I
long time
mean,
ago at the show.
again,
But then in that,
when I re-met you in that world, everybody had been in Richmond, right? Anna had
I,
been,
I think it was that little spot of reconnected again that Moish had in West Berkeley on 4th Street.
right, but
That little space that was upstairs.
but Anna had worked at the one in Richmond.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I never really went into that place often,
Okay.
to be honest. Yeah. But
Julianne Smith watching from the farmers market in Bridgman. Maybe we'll pop out there.
whoa.
Good.
Oh, Richmond. I love
Different
Richmond.
Richmond. Bridgman. Bridgman is in Michigan.
Bridgman. Oh, I love Bridgman.
My friend Julianne is the master gardener that I don't know if you saw the show. Hey Jeff, if you saw the show when she has a farm and grows everything. So many beautiful vegetables and fruit and strawberries. I just ate the rest of the strawberries, but yum, Julie, I need to come out. Hey Jeff Metzger's in Southern California. So there's people on. So if you were like, I saw you made the baklava the other day.
Yeah.
And you made that with cannabinated butter.
Yep, that's correct.
And he's a medical marijuana OG for Beyond World.
Armando, I smoked weed for a good 30 years before I got into the medical cannabis industry. So that was just work experience, apparently.
That was preparing for, but you're a super, what dare I say with the word empathetic, you're an empathetic and conscious caretaker, and you're really good at it.
Yeah, and it took me a long time to get to that point. It really did. I mean, not that I was a jerk, but I was self-centered, the most of my life. About 30, my heart started to open a little bit, when my daughter was born. And then, being in the condition I am now really kind of humbled me. I've had a couple other humbling experiences in my life as well. And that, once again, builds towards a more empathetic person because it all comes down to personal experience. If you have that personal experience, then you can relate to what other people are going through because you go, holy crap, I went through that. Holy crap, I'm going through that now, and so, but But yeah, that goes back to that. And then once again, I credit the medical cannabis industry for really building that compassion and allowing me to free it and share it and share what I can with other people.
Yeah. I mean, you are needed now in this world on many levels, and
Thank
appreciated,
you.
honored. It's true. No, it's totally true. So I want to go back to the baklava for a second
Okay.
because it looked so beautiful in the oven. How did it taste?
It was okay. I had to replace the nuts in it with a substitute because the family can't have nuts here in the house. Um, and so I tried grape nuts, and I thought maybe I could bring up the texture a little bit by toasting them, although they're already crunchy. And I had a friend that
I
was
love
like, I know, right? They're great, and it turned out okay. The texture was there. It was a little more cooked than I would prefer, but otherwise it was all right. It was all right. But once again, there's no good substitute for nuts in a baklava. You have to have the nuts.
I wonder if they could. Can they do no nut at all?
Yeah, but it's not. I mean, it's just like butter and sugar and phyllo dough, and
No,
then
because maybe
you have to.
they might not be allergic to pine nuts.
Oh, yeah. No, they're not. The seeds, tree and ground. They're both allergic, so they
Okay.
don't. They're allergic to both of those. So, um, but it turned out okay. But I would rather do it with the nuts if I was going to do it again. But
And
it's.
you
Go ahead.
you
I'm sorry.
prepared the butter beforehand. You cannibinated the butter the day before.
That's correct. I had some material. It was outdoor, and it was last season. Outdoor meaning obviously it grows outdoors. Last season means it was harvested back in October
The year
of last year. That's what the growing cycle goes, and so it was older. It allowed the chemical makeup of cannabis to kind of break down to become more of a stonier kind of high and less psychoactive, and so it was perfect for the person that I was made the butter for.
So stonier
And
in the head, less in the body, or vice versa.
no, vice versa,
So
and the head.
better body, less head.
That's correct.
That's what I like. I don't like head at all.
Yeah,
I
you
do.
want to stay away from the sativas. Smoking the sativa is okay. It gets you.
Want some
Excuse me.
tea? Here's some tea.
Sorry. I'm talking a lot, so
You want to go get
let me
some water?
try.
Go get some water.
Let me take a break real quick and get some water.
We'll
Sorry,
be
guys.
right. We'll be here. I'll be here. All of a sudden, I got really dark, and I don't know why. It's just like, and no light changed. Now I'm coughing. So I didn't know that. I knew to stay away from sativas, but I didn't know that the older it gets. Anyone have any questions of the Mama? Do you have any questions, Patty? Mom, Patty, and somebody else are still here. This is what's cool about this show is William, although he's at church right now, compassion and grace can come from the experience if you're paying attention. Oh, Mondo, Alex is one of the coolest people I've ever met and was really great with my dad. And there he is. There he is. And
Listen
what
to the.
you came back and the light changed.
I brought the light.
You brought the light, brother. You brought the light. So the longer so marijuana that sits around like something that I have had for a year plus is going to be more body than head, depending
Yeah,
on.
basically, um, cannabis has uh, trichomes, develops trichomes, which are little stems with the head on it, and that are actually designed as like a sunscreen for the plant, and it develops Yeah, yeah, it's sunscreen, and so it protects it and it soaks up all that sun during the vegetative process before flowers like that flower or plants like that flower. That's how they get nice and big and beefy, and then once they start flowering, they develop the trichome on the leaves, which protect it, but also soak up a lot of the sun, which converts to the THC, the chemical compound that gets you high.
But when it's been sitting around for a year,
Yeah, those trichomes break down. So, like I said, they're little stems with a little ball on top. It's basically oil encapsulated, and as time passes, the little encapsulation film that holds the oil breaks down, and and it begins to just let the oil release. And as that oil is released, it starts to degrade, and then the chemical compound. From what I read, it converts from CBDA, which is the acids, to CBDN. I don't know what the N stands for, but the CBDN in that form is more relaxing, more sedative
more
in the
body.
body.
And
Yeah, exactly.
you have trigeminal neuralgia, so do I, Patty. And I've tried. Trigeminal neuralgia is like they call it the suicide pain. I get it right here on the side of my face. Not very often, but there would be. What's a great strain for pain? In your thought, right now, that's out there.
Any indica, really, anything that has a Kush cross, anything that's going to be like if you go to your dispensary and you ask for a Kush, that'll generally be more relaxing. Some of the Kushes, depending on the strain that they're crossed to, will bring that sativa-esque um, psychoactivity, but anything cushy will do it. Anything purple, anything they say granddaddy purple, anything like that, those are going to be indicas. It had been so long since I've been really into that culture, into that dispensary setting, that there's so many strains out there that have been crossed and recrossed and developed and named and renamed. It's hard to keep up, man.
Yeah. I have friends up in Mendocino County that have been up there since the 70s, and they in like serious OG, like creating strains from stuff that has, now they're like a friend of mine created Nigerian Nightmare, and
Right.
other purple pushes and stuff, but now then they rename it to something else. So do you mostly smoke?
Yeah, yeah. Nowadays, I do. I'm not really a big edible person to begin with, just because, I mean, with cannabis, when you smoke it, and then you can still kind of function,
Right,
right?
right.
Right. Yeah. When you eat edibles,
Dude.
it kind of
Well, say
knocks
to
you out
me,
for a
like,
couple hours.
here, try this gummy. And they'll like, I just had two. I'll eat like an eighth of a gummy, and the next day I'm like this.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Hours.
Yep.
Like, Jenna, do something today. What is it?
Yeah. Right.
Oh, I forgot. I ate an eighth of that gummy. Don't
Mhm.
like that feeling.
Or you eat an edible like a gummy or something small, and you don't feel it, or it's the size, or it's the flavor, or something makes you eat more of it,
Yeah.
right? And then you're really blown out in an hour.
The one thing I did dig was that the place on Ashby that you worked at.
Yeah, the underground club.
And they made those caramels, those caramels that were
Oh, right. There was one, I swear. This
those.
goes to show you, those are great. And this goes to show you that something small like that, something good like that, worked really well for people. And then when I got to that one place, I actually got to meet the woman who produces those candies.
Oh, they were so good.
And
They
oh
were
my God, the
just the right
sweetness.
amount.
Yeah, Yeah, but she was the sweetest little Italian lady from Richmond. She was so nice. So nice. For maybe like 3 months, my daughter got a job cutting and wrapping the product for her.
Really?
And just because my daughter needed a little side gig, you know, and so she was just the most amazing person, huge heart, beautiful family. I got to know her really well. She was awesome. And
I
so
hope
it just goes to show you, good people making good products is awesome, because you can get that energy from that product, from the person who produces it.
if you're reading what Rob Morocco said, 150 cannabis stores in Edmonton, as they are 100% legal in Canada, and after a couple of years now, yeah, zero negative impact. I mean, you just go. There's going to be like 10 stores 3 minutes away from where I live in the next 6 months.
Right.
Something that
And
I
Rob, I bet you next to those 150 cannabis stores, there's a poutine store right next to it. That is the business to go into. Poutine to go.
poutine to go. There you go, right next door to the bakery.
Right? There you go.
So I'm curious, Lee. Yeah, I mean, if longtime eaters, like someone that can eat marijuana, phew, I can't. I try, but if I like Patty says she doesn't like to not have that. I just get too. I have weird dreams. If I want to, I just want to sleep.
Yeah.
And if I wake up in the middle of the night, like, I'm like, I don't like it. I don't like this lighting either.
When I
But
worked at BPG, there was one product. It was this product that was no bigger than a lighter, maybe like this big, and it was a sativa dominant brownie that had the impact of an eighth of weed. And people would, because it's so small and so delicious, they would eat the whole thing and have a horrible experience because it was so strong. It would just be horrible. And people would come back and complain, and go, "Oh God, that was the worst thing you ever. I don't know why you ever chose to just have that product in it. Just have horrible." And we were all told, tell them small bite, wait a half hour, see how you feel, eat another small bite. We were all told about this one product. They had another product that was the equivalent of a quarter, 2/8, and it was 3 times the size. And once again, super powerful. But because the people that I work with in the industry, their tolerances were so high, there were some people that could eat the whole thing on a 15-minute coffee break and then work the rest of the day. Just on it, just be happy.
well, so what I don't understand is, and you could talk to people about Simpson oil. I've tried
Yeah.
Simpson oil on a pin of like a head of a pin.
Mhm.
I was like, I couldn't walk.
Yeah, that's super concentrated. That's again another way to concentrate and create the oils. It's the concentrated oils from that, and that's a process of just boiling the material in isopropyl alcohol, pure, like a 99%. And that sounds crazy to boil alcohol, but it's on a low setting, long term. Uh, you can There's a way to do it like a backyard boogie style, which I like to call, which is like homemade cottage industry type extractions. But there are other ways to do it as well. And but that's a process developed by a gentleman named Rick Simpson, and it wasn't really developed. He just got I don't know, man. I guess it was the marketing, because he had lots of people who needed this. They took it and they spoke up about it, and it just steamrolled in this era that we're going through, with the digital information and people turning on to cannabis more and more. Um, it got this head of steam, and millions of people are aware of it now.
Oh, for sure, Rob. Well, like, but Simpson oil for cancer fighting properties, it works. But what I
Yes.
don't understand is it got me so high on that little amount, if I'm having challenges with cancer.
That that goes back. Unfortunately, that goes back to the strain. It could have been a more. It could have been a hybrid with a more sativa dominant aspect to it, and that could have caused it for you.
This much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I tell you what, sativa edibles do to me is it causes cramping in my hands, in my joints, and in my knees. It's almost like a painful restless leg syndrome ish. And until I worked in the industry, I didn't really figure that out. Like there was one time I had edibles after I was diagnosed with diabetes, and it caused it. And I was like, oh, what's that? But I didn't have any of the knowledge to put two and two together until I got into the industry. And then I started sampling stuff because I had access to it. And so I sampled a sativa dominant edible one day, and I was like, oh, God, what is that? Like hour later for 2 hours. And once it wore off, I'm like, oh, that was the edible. And I started asking people about it too in the industry and patients, and some people experienced it, some people didn't, but it was, it was something, but yeah, everybody reacts differently.
Yeah. If I could find something that just like I'm glad that Carol finds something for restless leg and or sleep.
Yeah. The material that I just rendered is really relaxing and really a lot of pain relief. I'm caretaking for a woman who is in her mid 70s, 70-ish, I think, and she just got diagnosed with breast cancer, stage 2. They just put in a port, which is like a PICC line, where she's going to be getting weekly chemo treatments, and then 4 weeks of that. Then she goes in for a hip replacement,
Oh my goodness.
and then possibly a mastectomy. But everything is done in stages. But I made this butter for her, and literally just putting it on toast. Spreading it on toast with a little bit of jam, once in the morning, once at night, and it's giving her, it's promoting her sleep, promoting. She hasn't started the chemo yet, but it's keeping her hungry, and and relieving her of the hip pain that she's experiencing at the moment. So, I made maybe about 2 cups of it, and I did a half a cup of the baklava, but we've decided we're just going to leave it alone, and I'm just going to use that straight to dose her with the butter
Little bit
for
of
this.
little, bye, Mama Grace.
Yeah.
I'm always trying to find. I like Moish has turned me on to some nice oils from my mom, but we just haven't quite found the one that's great for pain.
Yeah, yeah. It's tough. It's tough. You definitely have to rely on the strain being what you need it to be. So,
So more body is again
indica dominant,
indica dominant, Patty. So you
and
went to
then
a place and said, I need something for pain that's indica dominant. You probably could find it, but maybe either get it in a pen or smoke. But smoke it. One hit is amazing.
they have elixir tinctures that are either alcohol based, glycerin based, essential oil based, and those are just drops under the tongue that would work for you. Also, look at CBD products. CBD products work at the right dosage. Maybe not smoking, maybe like as a oil or something, or maybe even an infused honey type product. Anything like that.
Oh, I
You
like
could
it,
always
honey. I knew a guy here in Detroit, pretty famous cat named Peanut Butter, that mixes in with peanut butter, and his
Oh,
whole
okay.
life was on peanut butter. So I know you do other things. You've become quite a cook out there, and I'm curious
Ye-
what you're making today.
Uh, Today we are making my mother's chile verde recipe, and It's something that was taught to me by watching her, not only watching her make it, but watching and assisting her in shopping for it as a kid. You know, she would go to the meat market and haggle with the butcher in the back of the old Alpha Beta supermarket that we used to go to, and would send me to the produce section to, find chiles. And so by the time she would come over, uh, um, I'd have a selection of chiles, and she would pick through it, go, okay, put them all back. These are what I want. And learn that, and then learn by watching her. And
So
it's
you're making
one
that
of those
today?
old. I am making that today because of the locale. I'm no longer have access to all the peppers that I want, not being in California. So I have to make do with what is available out here. Um, there are some selections of some peppers that are California based, but I got some Italian peppers, different kind of Italian peppers that I'm going to be working with as well today. So
Nice. Well,
yeah, no, unfortunately, Patty, unfortunately, no, they're going to be untainted chili verde. No THC in the chili verde today.
I'm still a fan of the scalloped potato that I had that day at that party that Moish and I went to.
Oh yeah,
So you cook every day? You make
yeah, I'm
food?
cooking every day. Yeah, meal planning. Uh, it's been pretty. It's a challenge, but not too much of a challenge. The challenge will be when the person I caretake for starts chemo.
Yeah.
Then we have to alter the diet, um, and it's going to be more of a consistency basis. She might develop sores in her mouth from the treatment, so you have to consider
Maybe
things that
not.
will
I can
maybe.
talk to you about that stuff. I work with a lot of chemo friends and breast cancer friends, and there's
I would love to.
yeah,
Yeah, I would love to talk to you about that. Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, good for you, Alex. Yeah, but Patty likes men who cook.
Oh, right on, Patty. Are you single?
She is.
Wink, 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 wink. You in the ball headed one leg guys? Wink, wink.
Are you bald
Patty.
by choice? Like, do you shave at all?
Uh, yes, I do shave. I
You
do
shave.
shave because
You
if I
shave.
don't, my hair is it goes out. It'll grow out to like this. But I have the skull set going up here. Oh, Patty, so many ways I could disappoint you.
So you're never up at 11:11 at night, correct?
Yeah, very rarely. I sleep. It's something. Yeah, the past 2 years I really started appreciating going to sleep at like 7, 8 o'clock, and so I don't go to sleep that early anymore.
You're
But I
my
do.
hero.
By
That's cool.
by 9, 10 o'clock, I'm out.
Well, I'm going to invite you to. Let me ask you this: are you busy next Sunday? Would you like to come back?
I don't know. I'm booked for next Sunday on 11/11 with Jenna.
So
No applause. No applause. Just throw money.
Patty says you need to shave your beard. You'd have to shave your beard.
Okay, maybe that is something that I plan to do. Maybe we'll do it on air next
Oh,
Sunday.
that'd be cool.
Would you like that?
Oh, my friend Lee just said he noticed that the number of viewers had decreased since you stopped talking about pot. Perhaps you should change it to Jenna 420. Jenna 420. Oh,
Yeah, maybe
Jenna.
420 with Jenna.
I'll ask Dave to work
420
on
with.
that. You can meet at 420. I mean, so here is something that I would like to invite you to think about. On Sunday evenings now, I am too, Rob. It is. Alex is a cool dude, and he's glad you'll be back next Sunday.
Thanks, Rob.
Would you consider, so tonight, you guys, just so you know, and I'm inviting y'all to be a part of this, if you have a poem you want to read, come on the show and read a poem. But I'm going to ask this to my guests that come on weekly anyway. If you find a poem that you would like to read next Sunday, I would like to hear it.
You know, like 10 years ago, I was really into haikus. And so I wrote a number of haikus. I don't know if I could dig them out anywhere, but I wrote a lot of humorous
If you
haikus.
dig one out, or if between now and next Sunday you happen to write a haiku, a haiku,
Taiku!
haiku, I like that. I would love to hear it, and maybe these 4 or 5 other people will be back to hear it.
Okay. I will write a haiku in ode of Thai food. So then it'll be a taiku.
A haiku,
How's that?
haiku, yeah. Oh, don't you wish we could be back in Berkeley on a Sunday morning and meet?
Oh, they just reopened too
I
after the
know.
pandemic, which is awesome. That's the one thing I'm missing is Thai food for breakfast on Sundays.
Hi, Sundays. We missed that for sure. Well, I'm really super happy that you came back, and I'm excited to see you again next week. And I'm curious about the Chile Verde. Are you going to post a photo later?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
And I wore
I
one
gotta
of my
take go.
masks yesterday. I wore my blue mask, my blue um, groovy mask.
Awesome. And for those out there that are still watching, I know that we're past the pandemic, and I know that we're all vaccinated, and so us as as one person who is vaccinated will stave off death if you happen to contract COVID. But they got this Delta variant out there. It's scary, and it's scary for other people who aren't vaccinated. And so I'm still promoting going out, wearing your mask, wearing your face coverings out in public, and protecting yourself and protecting the people you love. I'm surrounded now. The location that I'm at is more conservative base, and so we find a more conservative base is a less vaccinated base, and so I'm trying to look out for those people. And so even though I'm vaccinated and I've had it once already, I still am wearing my face covering, and I'm the only person in this area, it seems like, in a grocery store that's wearing a mask. So it's scary. Please continue to wear your mask. It'll save lives. Trust me. I'm an expert, apparently, at it.
And roll your own joints, right?
Yes, don't smoke anything that you haven't seen rolled in front of you. You never know what it could that joint could contain COVID. Be careful.
But you would never, would you ever share a joint now at this point in your life?
Um,
Say
yes.
no, Alex. Say no, Alex.
Yes. Yeah,
Why would you do that?
it's the old hippie in me, man. I
Don't
guess.
do, like, if you're going to be out with 4 people, make sure there's 4 joints for everybody, or 6 or 8 or
You,
whatever.
you do the knuckle. You do the knuckle. You put the joint between this finger and this finger, or this finger and this finger, and then you hit the fist like that. Oh, something new. You learn every
Okay,
day.
now what is that in your hand right now?
A lighter.
Oh, okay. But you mostly
If I
smoke
had,
joints.
yeah, yeah. No, it all depends. If I have if I have enough weed to go around, then it's a joint. If not, it's a pipe, just because it conserves it. Right?
Well, we'll talk about pipes next week, maybe, and we'll get a bunch of.
Yes.
Let your friends know this is happening next week, and you guys, if there are anybody out there that you know that appreciate the cannabinated lifestyle, turn them on to the show.
Yeah, I'm
Easy.
definitely going to link it. I'm sorry. Yeah, with the Thai coup. Exactly. The Thai stick coup.
Thanks, man. Really great to see you.
Jenna, I love you.
I love you.
This is my highlight. One of the highlights of my week is to be here on Sundays.
Well, anytime if you're around during the week and you want to pop in and say hi, you have the code. Feel free.
Yay! I've got the pass.
You do.
And I'm selling it to the highest bidder.
Sell it. Go ahead. Highest bidder.
Yes.
Let's do it. Make some money. All right, man. Thank you very much.
All right.
Alex Martinez, everybody. See you later, man.
That's Queen waves, right? See you later. I love you.
Love
Bye,
you.
everybody.
I like that thing. You'll have to show me how to do that.
Oh, right. Talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye. See how fun? Now, where else are you going to do that on a Sunday morning? I don't know where, but 4 of you are here right now. Share the show on your page. Rob, please share the show because it's important stuff. There's great content here, and Jeff Metzger in the house. Speaking of Metzger, this Thursday coming up, Conversations with the Creatives featuring Lisa Metzger. Who knows what's going to happen? She's like this. She's a whisperer on many levels. Armando Ortega. And thanks, you guys. Thank you. Who has a letter? Anybody have a letter? I thought last night's was a W, but it was 2 V's. And I would have done that. Not. Very, very. I would have started out with very, very. But so yeah, Thursday night. Tonight, if you're around and you feel it. Yeah, okay. All right, we will. Tonight's poetry night. It's usually musicians square table, but musicians are gigging. And I'm hoping that some musicians sometimes will come on and do a poem or be squaring it with us. So if you have a poem, you want to come and hang out, you have the link. Thursday may have to be postponed, schedule conflict. Not a problem. Because Thursday night, actually, that works out fine. We can do it another Thursday because I'm going to be in Idlewild, Michigan. And I'm not quite sure I might have to drive somewhere to get service because I'm going to be kind of camping a little bit because I have a gig Wednesday. So, okay. So tonight, poetry night. If anybody, like I said, Jeff, Lisa wants to come on and read a poem. Tomorrow morning, I'll meander. Tomorrow night, meditation. Tuesday morning, Grace and I are going to do something. Tuesday night, oh no, Grace is going out for breakfast on Tuesday. Oh yeah, Lisa can. Yay! Please. Lisa Metzger will be here tonight to read a poem. And I believe Carl Hess is going to be here and maybe one of you. K. So, Patty, I am sitting in my kitchen today, and I'm wondering what words start with K. Okay. Let me think about a kaleidoscope. Thought, a kaleidoscope. Thinking of today, and I'll say that I hope that all of you keep beautiful words coming from your mouth, and I can't think. A keg-sized heart is a way to start. And from my kitchen to you, I send love and humor too. And I hope that we killed it today. Thanks, Alex. Thanks, you guys. I will see you when I see you, Mama Grace. Enjoy your Mass. I'm going to make some food and have a blast. Stay safe, stay healthy, be nice. Are there words? Word is hard. K is hard. Love hard.